This is a SnapEd New York video presentation.
Hello everyone, my name is Wendy Beckman and I'm a registered dietitian with the New York State Office for the Aging and SnapEd New York. Thanks for joining me today on What's Cooking with NYSOFA. Today I'm going to make a tomato and lentil curry. This dish is a great way to use fresh tomatoes, so if you grow your own or you like to visit your local farmer's market or farm stand, this recipe will give you a unique way to use up those fresh tomatoes. This recipe calls for canned tomatoes, but I think it would be a really great recipe to use fresh tomatoes also. Remember that all forms of vegetables count. Fresh, frozen, canned, or dried are all great ways to get more veggies in your diet. We will be posting the link to the recipe below, and the recipe can also be found on the SnapEd New York website at www.snapedny.org. This recipe makes 4 servings. Each serving has 276 calories, 8 grams of fiber, and 13 grams of protein, so it's a good source of both fiber and protein. Before I start cooking, let's look at the My Plate graphic. This recipe covers the fruits and vegetables section of My Plate. Beans, peas, and lentils are considered part of the vegetable group. The onions and tomatoes in this recipe are, of course, also vegetables. You want to vary your veggies by including as many different vegetables as you can in your diet. Different vegetables with different colors contain different vitamins and minerals that your body needs. The more colors you add to your diet will mean that you're maximizing the number of vitamins and minerals that you eat. This dish can be served over rice, which is a grain. You want to make half of your grains whole grains, so you can use brown rice, which is a whole grain if you like it, or you can serve it over white rice. If you use white rice, just get some other whole grains in your diet like whole wheat bread, quinoa, oatmeal, and did you know that popcorn is also a whole grain? Remember that everything you eat and drink over time matters. Make every bite count by finding your healthy eating style and maintain it for a lifetime. The right mix can help you be healthier now and in the future. So before we get into this recipe, check out what I made last month, a quinoa and black bean salad. If you didn't get a chance to see that video, you can view it on the New York State Office for the Aging Facebook page or the New York State Office for the Aging YouTube channel. Remember to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you hit the notification bell, you won't miss out on any new content when it's posted. So let's get into making this tomato and lentil curry. Remember to wash your hands with soap for at least 20 seconds or use an alcohol-based hand sanitizer before you start cooking. Let's look at the ingredients for this recipe. Here I have 2 tablespoons of olive oil. You can also use vegetable or canola oil, avocado oil, whatever you prefer. I do have olive oil here. Here I have an onion that's been chopped. Here I have 2 cloves of garlic, diced or minced. You can use fresh garlic or jar garlic. I have fresh here. I have 1.5 tablespoons of curry powder right here. Now, the recipe calls for 3 cups of water. This is 2 cups of water. And if you want to have thicker lentils, you can just use 2 cups. If you want them a little more soupy looking, then you can add 3 cups. I do have 1 cup of lentils here. They've been rinsed and sorted. You want to check through when you rinse them to remove anything that's not a lentil. This recipe calls for canned tomatoes, and I have 1 14.5 ounce can of stewed tomatoes here that I've drained. You want to look for the low sodium or no sodium added varieties at your store. If you want to use fresh tomatoes, you can do that also, like I said before. I also have a teaspoon of salt here and 2 cups of brown rice. Like I said, you can use jasmine rice or white rice, whatever you like. I also have some cilantro for some garnish. Now, if you don't like cilantro, you can use parsley instead. The first step is to heat the oil over a medium-low heat in this pan here. So I'm going to pour the olive oil in. And next we're going to add the onion. So let's get the spoon here and make sure we get everything into the pan. Start to hear that sizzling a little bit. Next we're going to add the garlic. So here we have that. Get the spoon in there, get all of that garlic out of there. The onions and the garlic are going to make that smell really, really great. Now we're going to add the curry powder. So here's that. Sprinkle that in. All right, great. And then we just have to incorporate all of that. Oh, wow, that smells amazing. So I'm going to stir this together and cook it for about 10 to 15 minutes until the onions are soft and the spices are fragrant. It's already starting to happen here. So I had my pan heating up for a few minutes. If you want to add the oil to the hot pan, you want to add the ingredients after the oil has heated up a little bit. So you can preheat that pan just for a little while before you put that oil in there. Now, usually you can tell that the onions are getting soft because they're also going to become a little translucent or a little more see-through. Now, as the onions cook, the flavor will become a little more mellow. What we're doing here is caramelizing the onions. Caramelizing or sautéing onions on low or moderate heat causes a reaction between the sugars and the proteins in the onion. And I know what you're thinking. There isn't sugar in onions, but there actually are some naturally occurring sugars and a small amount of protein in the onions. As the onions turn brown, the sugars are released. Onions also have a sulfur compound in them that gives raw onions a pungent flavor. Cooking the onions breaks down the sulfur, which gets rid of the pungent flavor, and the sweet sugar flavor remains. That's why cooked onions are less pungent than raw onions. Cooked or raw, either way, they provide excellent flavor to dishes. And now that looks like we're getting a little bit more cooked. So that looks pretty good. I think that now we're going to add in the water. So here we have 2 cups of water. We'll add that in. And that water is needed because next we're going to add in the lentils. So this is 1 cup of lentils. There we go. And after we get this all mixed together, then we will add in the tomatoes. So here we have those. All right, let's make sure we get all those tomatoes in there. And like I said, these are canned tomatoes, but you can use fresh too if you want to. That looks really great. Last, I'm going to pour in the salt. There's that. You can add in salt if you want to. You can leave it out. If you want to reduce the amount of sodium in your dish, then just leave the salt out. The curry powder is going to do a really good job of flavoring this dish. Now I'm going to stir this together, and once everything is combined, you're going to bring the water to a boil again. Sometimes you might want to put a lid on the pot. That sometimes can help it come to a boil a little faster. And then after it's come to a boil, you're going to reduce the heat down to a simmer again. You're going to cook the lentils for about 30 to 40 minutes or until all of the water is absorbed and the lentils are soft. You can serve the lentils over rice and garnish with cilantro or parsley like we have here. I think that this dish is a great way to use some leftover rice that you have. By adding the tomato and lentil curry over the leftover rice, you're giving it a whole new life. I try to make my leftovers into something new whenever I can. It cuts down on food waste and it keeps me from getting bored with whatever I ate earlier in the week. So let me show you some lentils that I prepared earlier. So here are the lentils with the tomatoes. In this batch, I actually used fresh tomatoes. So you can see it doesn't matter whether you use canned or fresh, frozen, whatever you have, okay? And like I said, I have brown rice here. You can serve it over white rice, jasmine rice, whatever makes you happy. This dish is a really great way to get some extra protein and fiber into your diet. I hope this recipe gave you some more ideas on how to incorporate more fruits and vegetables into your diet. Join me next month in September when I'm going to be making a butternut squash and apple soup. This is a great recipe just in time for apple season. I'll be back with another edition of What's Cooking with NYSOFA on Friday, September 27th at 12:30 p.m. on the New York State Office for the Aging Facebook page and the New York State Office for the Aging YouTube channel, where you can find out more ways to save time, save money, and eat healthy. This presentation was funded by the U.S. Department of Agriculture. This institution is an equal opportunity provider. Stay safe, everyone, and I'll see you next time.
Thank you for joining us today. We know the healthy choice isn't always the easiest choice, but small changes can make a big difference. Start today by getting involved with SNAP Ed New York. This program is free for those who qualify or receive SNAP benefits. We want to help you save time, save money, and eat healthy. Learn how SNAP Ed can make a difference in your life. For more information and to find your local program, visit snapedny.org. This material is funded by USDA's Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. SNAP. This institution is an equal opportunity provider.
Hi, I'm registered dietitian Wendy Beckman, host of What's Cooking with NYSOFA. Over the past 2 years, I've had the opportunity to share healthy, nutritious recipes with you on the show. I work for the New York State Office for the Aging, and thanks to a partnership with SNAP-Ed New York, our nutrition team reaches hundreds of thousands of older New Yorkers each year. So why a cooking program? 60% of health costs and related issues have nothing to do with health, but instead have to do with individual behaviors like our food choices and physical activity. The recipes we feature are nutritionally appropriate for older adults, meeting critical nutrition requirements for healthy aging. What I bet you don't know is that this show is only part of a larger effort. To help me explain what our nutrition team at the New York State Office for the Aging does and what a registered dietitian is, here is registered dietitian Lisbeth Irish.
A registered dietitian is a professional who has training and education in food and nutrition. To become an RD, you must complete certain requirements, including a minimum of a bachelor's degree from an institution that's accredited by the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics. You must also pass a national examination and meet continuing education requirements. What does that mean? As RDs, we are qualified to offer accurate advice about nutrition, and we can help answer your questions about how diet can affect your health. At NYSOFA, the registered dietitians handle many tasks. This includes hosting 2 online programs aimed at helping older New Yorkers make better nutrition choices. These programs are What's Cooking with NYSOFA, which is our monthly cooking demonstration, and a Facebook Live program that I host called Ask the Experts, Nutrition Edition. In the months ahead, be on your lookout for it. We'll be sharing your questions and our experts' answers about nutrition and health. New episodes of Ask the Experts Nutrition Edition debut the second Friday of each month on Facebook and YouTube.
As Lisbeth explained, registered dietitians at NYSOFA handle many tasks, including food safety at congregate meal sites, educational materials, and outreach. In the meantime, please don't miss an episode of either show produced by our team, What's Cooking with NYSOFA and Ask the Experts Nutrition Edition. Every episode is uploaded to YouTube, and you'll find the archive shows there.
Do you have a question about foods? Or do you have a particular health issue that you'd like to improve by changing your diet? Tune in to Ask the Experts Nutrition Edition every second Friday at 1 p.m. We'd love to hear from you.
Remember, registered dietitians are the experts in nutrition. Visit for more sound advice about eating healthy on a budget.